One would think that since slaves are no longer legally bought and sold in public auctions, there are no slaves anymore. Quite the contrary, there are roughly 200 million slaves today, and you must know where they are and why they exist. With thousands of people being shipped to the United States annually for forced labor and sex trafficking, slavery doesn't just occur abroad. It's about time we understand the world's top locations where the highest number of slaves exist today. Rank 5. The Ivory Coast. You like chocolates, don't you? What you didn't know is that the Ivory Coast accounts for 36% of the world's supply of cocoa. Needless to say, the result of this worldwide craving for chocolate is slavery. Around 250,000 children in the Ivory Coast are exploited for forced labor to harvest and process cocoa. These children do not attend school. They wake up at 8 in the morning, cut the cocoa fruit off the trees with heavy machetes, and remove the beans. Many times they do not even have breakfast. Rank 4. Haiti. Haiti is known for forced domestic and business labor. Children in this country are called restaveks, a word that came from the French rester avec, or the one who stays with. More than 500,000 children are sent to other families in exchange of better living conditions. However, these same people who are supposed to be foster parents are the same ones who force these children into forced labor as domestic helpers or in manufacturing plants until they become adults. These children are maltreated, receive serious beatings, and they live in inhumane conditions without receiving any of the promised good life and education. Rank 3. Uzbekistan. The estimated populations of slaves in this country is 1.2 million, which is about 4% of its total population. According to Human Rights Watch, children and adults alike are forced into labor in cotton fields. These men and women are poor people who are forced by state-backed businesses to labor under extreme conditions without adequate remuneration, food, or shelter. Rank 2. India. 13 million slaves in the form of bonded labor are suffering in India. Bonded labor, also called peonage, is a modern-day form of slavery but has been around for a long time. So how does bonded slavery happen? It all starts with a debt. This debt is either acquired or inherited by another slave parent. The person is now required to work without pay in exchange of paying the debt. It is during this process that the so-called employer starts adding expenses, which means more debt to the slave. This additional debt comes in the form of food, shelter, and clothing. Later on, the debt keeps on piling up and the slave cannot get out of the situation anymore. Rank 1. Afghanistan. This is the most dangerous place to be a child. Did you know that 11% of the world's population of children are forced into labor? In 2012 alone, the International Labour Organization said that there are 168 million children around the world forced into labor. What's worse is that many of these children are sold for sex. But why are children forced into labor? They are forced to work because there is a huge demand for cheap and unskilled labor. Add poverty to this equation of supply and demand, and you get the perfect recipe for slavery. Sadly, some parents actually approve of this so their children can help supplement the family income. In Afghanistan, a third of all school-aged children are forced into labor, most specifically in the carpet industry. These children are forced to work and are sexually exploited by the heartless culprits who enslave them. If this video helped to open your eyes to this issue, please consider subscribing.